the man behind yesterday's deadly terror attack in London. Officials have identified 52-year-old Khalid Massoud as the attacker, a man with a long rap sheet who had been under previous investigation for extremist ties. Massoud was a British-born citizen, and his brutal attack is highlighting the threat of homegrown terror.
People are cowed, people are afraid, and people are not united. Great Britain is more disunited. It is absolutely divided more than any time in its past.
Joining us now to analyze from Washington, Jim Hanson from the Center for Security Policy, and from Los Angeles, terror expert and analyst Aaron Cohen. Aaron, I'll start with you. So ISIS basically claims responsibility, saying he's a soldier of the jihad. They're using vehicles now. How do you stop any of this?
Well, I think it starts with the immigration. You got to make sure that, look, Europe's been in trouble for a long time, Eric. East London, you know, has been in great trouble or grave danger for some time right now in terms of the mesh of you know, Sharia believers and ideologists who live within those communities. That's number one. That's all intel. Two, you physically have to have things like bollards, very simple security mechanisms in place around strategic targets like the Parliament building. And those bollards can physically stop a truck or a car from ramming in. And then the other one, I'm going to say that London and the UK needs to revamp its entire police forces, because I'm going to tell you right now, you're not going to be able to stop terrorists, you know, wielding automatic rifles and using cars to smash civilians with bobbies. And I know that their CT unit did a great job of responding. They're armed. But I think it's time for the UK to start looking at arming all of their police officers.
Guys, I have to do this. I'm sorry I have to do this. We're going to take a look in. We're going to dip in. Paul Ryan had just delivered a couple of remarks on Capitol Hill, and there you saw him leaving the press conference right there. I guess they were very brief remarks. Okay, let me bring these guys back in. Jim, let me talk to you a little bit about this. This Massoud was under surveillance by the British, basically British intelligence, but then left to go on his own and ended up killing people, 4 people, and himself dying.
Here's the problem, Eric. You can identify people, but if you don't look at what's causing them to do this, you're never going to solve the problem. I mean, there's an issue right now with, I don't care whether it's homegrown terrorism, I don't care how they kill people. They're killing for a cause, and we need to accept that, and we need to deal with that. Pew International is a lovely liberal organization that polled Muslims worldwide, asked them a simple question: do you support suicide bombing that kills civilians? 28% said some form of yes. That's hundreds of millions of people around the world who believe they can kill non-believers to further their cause, and believers. So we need to deal with that, and we need to attack the ideology and point out that those are the bad Muslims. There are also Muslims we can partner with.
Aaron, you have to attack the ideology, because in this case, this guy was British-born. He was self-radicalized, and he didn't use a gun or whatever. He used his car and an 8-inch knife.
And what we need
these are tactics. Go ahead, Jim. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, what we need to do is point out that it doesn't matter where he's born. He's in the community, and we need the Muslims in that community to help. They need to look at the people around them in their mosques, in their communities, and say, we know this guy's bad. We want them to partner with us against the extremists.
Okay, go ahead, Aaron. You were going to comment on that?
Oh, let's get. Look, I completely agree with Jim. You know, he and I, we've parked our cars in the same counter-terror garage for a long time. You know, these communities have to condemn these acts of violence. We've heard this story over and over again, but from the security perspective, purely tactical perspective, London, again, law enforcement, I think the UK needs to start looking at arming their law enforcement completely. The reason why is because here's what we've learned in Israel over the last 60 years of dealing with terror. For every second you waste, the moment the terror act starts to go, another innocent life is killed. For every round you're not firing at a knife-wielding terrorist or a car trying to smash into a crowd of dozens of people, for every second wasted, another innocent is killed. So, Eric, the real tactic here is time sensitive. You don't have time. So to wait for a CT unit or a counter-terror attack unit to respond, it's just not quick enough. The police need to be armed, and again,
you guys are right.
I'm with Jim. This stuff has to get rooted.
Unfortunately, we live in a world now where we have to harden every single target, and it's a dangerous place. Gentlemen, thank you very much.